Hello, my name is Liam, and today I'm going to be talking about Lost Season 1, Episode 4. It's titled Walkabout. And before I get into it, I'll just like to say that this review is going to have spoilers, not just for this episode, but for the entire show. Because I'm not just going to be talking about this, I'm going to be talking about how things might relate to other episodes and other seasons. Now that I got that out of the way, this is, of course, Locke's first flashback episode. You know, went a couple episodes without getting any real information about Locke, so this was a very good episode to finally get and to finally see exactly who Locke is, and the flashbacks did that in a very good way, because there's a very nice twist at the end of this episode. I think one of the best twists in season 1, probably, which is, of course, that Locke was actually paralyzed for 4 years before crashing on the island. And they do it very good to hide that he is paralyzed. You never see him standing up. You only see him sitting down. You don't see him in a position where he's not using his legs because he can't use them. And also what they kind of do is they kind of strip away all your expectations of this character. You keep thinking, there's something about this character. Like, the flashbacks open up right away with him being referred to as a colonel, which of course we find out that's not true. He's just, an office drone working for a company. He's got a crappy supervisor, Randy Nations, a character that we're going to see a couple times again. And also interesting to point out that the company he works for is a box company, which Hurley actually owns. I don't even think he knows he owns the box company. And then later on we think, okay, he's got a girlfriend, Helen. Eventually we find out that's not even true. Or he's got this walkabout thing he's going to go on. Later on we find out that he's not even allowed to do that because he is in a wheelchair. They take away anything that we might think, kind of positive about this character before his life coming onto the island. Like, from what we see, he didn't really have much going for him before coming to the island. And he's a prime example of some of these characters maybe being better off in their life having actually crashed on the island. I think that rings true with a lot of characters. Not just Locke. Sawyer, Charlie is able to eventually beat his addiction. Sun and Jin's relationship greatly improves after crashing on the island. They eventually have a kid. They might not. And getting onto the island stuff now, there's kind of two island storylines going on. There's Locke, and there's Locke hunting the boars. He takes Michael and Kate with him. I don't understand why he takes Michael with him. Michael's just there to mess it up and get injured. And then the other side of it is the burning the fuselage. And one of the things I noticed with the burning the fuselage aspect of it, and also I picked up on this last episode, Saeed is almost stepping up as being a leader more than Jack is. Jack is still being reluctant as a leader. People are beginning to turn to him a little bit, like he's you had Claire coming up to him about reading to the names. That it's something he doesn't want, something that he didn't want to do, but people are turning to him as a leader, even though he doesn't want that at all. He doesn't want to be the leader. And the way Jack is mainly because of his relationship with his father, which is something we're going to see in the next episode, White Rabbit. But I mention his father because this is actually the first time that we see the smoke monster. I mean, we don't see him in the black smoke form that we've been hearing, but we do see him taking the form of Jack's father, Christian Shepherd. I mean, it's not until much later on in the show that we find out that it is the smoke monster impersonating all these dead people. But yeah, this would count as the first time we actually see the smoke monster. I think it's a nice kind of segue into this upcoming episode with Jack. But with the whole storyline with the burning the fuselage, I think it starts to show that, you know, the story is maybe slowing down a little bit. Maybe not slowing down, but maybe settling in. That they're kind of realized, okay, we haven't gotten rescued yet. It's been like 4 days. We might have to prepare for the idea of being here for a while. Because of course they know about the French transmission going on for 16 years. I notice it always seems like Saeed's got to be building something or doing something, which is just like Kate's always got to go off on these adventures and journeys into the jungle, just trying to get out of there any way possible. It was nice. It's nice seeing these characters kind of building up like rhythm, I would kind of say, with each other. Like these characters interacting more and more. Like we see, you know, obviously Jack and Kate, and the Jack and Sawyer relationship, and Hurley and Charlie. You know, Michael and Son. These characters, you know, interacting more and more, informing, you know, these relationships that last them throughout the show. I would say this is the first episode that Michael really starts to bother me. I'll admit, Michael is not one of my favorite characters. I think his whole storyline with Locke in season 1, that annoys me. And then of course his whole storyline in season 2 about you know, betraying them to get his son back, killing Anna Lucia and Libby. I didn't like that, of course. You know, he didn't bother me as much once he comes back in season 4. You know, but I think this might be one of the last episodes we see the fuselage set. Because I know later on they start to mention how it's like slowly sinking into the ocean, which is just, you know, the showrunner's excuse to stop using that, you know, set piece that's probably expensive, keeping that on there. No, they still haven't actually moved up the beach yet. I think they actually start moving into the caves before they move up to the beach. You know, so yeah, that's about all I got to say for that, and I'll see you next time.